Thank you. Ooh. Okay. Well, good morning. Good morning. So I am Stephanie Stewart. I'm one of our practitioners here, and senior ministerial student. Welcome to Center for Spiritual Living, Greater Dayton. If this is your first time here, a very special welcome to you, and thank you for sharing your morning with us. I would appreciate it, we would appreciate it, if you would take a minute to fill out the tear-off strip on your bulletin and drop it either at the Welcome Center or in the baskets as they come around later in the day. And so we can stay in touch with you and let you know what's going on here. We always have a lot of stuff happening. So our vigil holder today is Lana Mayhew. Linda Andriaco and Mark Fowler will offer our interfaith candle lighting, which reminds us of the many sources of wisdom and truth available to us from the world's religious traditions. I will be giving the reading and invocation because I signed up to do it long before I knew I was also going to be giving the talk today. So if you don't like the sound of my voice, there's good coffee in the social hall. Okay? So our kids today are with Carol Huseman. She's right here. If I could all gather up with you. All right, if y'all take a moment with me in consciousness, let's bless our children. So here and now, in this place of love and happiness, I know that our children are a blessing and our children are blessed. I know that they learn and grow in both love and peace and power here with us. And I know that in turn, that love, that peace, that power blesses each of us. So I simply say thank you. Thank you to Carol and thank you to all the children. And so it is.
So it is.
Then you have
Time for a song?
No, it's time for announcements.
Oh, announcements. Time changed, didn't it?
Yes, it's time for announcements. Okay. So a lot of you have already asked me, and I'm sure a lot of you have noticed, this is not Lieutenant Dan. Dan Hefner's out for a couple of weeks. Laurel's daughter is getting married. That's right, isn't it? Yes. Okay, so please welcome, he told me he was a local yokel, on vocals and guitar. This is Mr. Tom Downs. He'll be with us for a couple of weeks. Thank you, Tom. So now don't forget to check the updated Cooking with God calendar or catalog for the really great events that are coming up. Where is my list? Okay, so here are some that are coming up here in July, okay? Saturday, July 7th, we have an evening of food and fun, okay, games and food, and knowing Denise, probably some wine. Sunday, July 8th, we have the Beach Boat Blast 3. It's always a great time. Do not miss that one. Saturday, July 14th is Breakfast at Wimbledon. Sunday, July 15th, we have the Splish Splash Pool Party. And yes, that was as hard to say as it sounded. Stop by the office during the week for tickets. Okay? If you can carry a tune and want to join a choir that's being put together, please add your name and phone number to the clipboard sheet that's over here at the Welcome Center. I cannot sing. Well, I do sing, but I don't subject people to it. So, but if you can carry a tune in a bucket, please sign up. Sign up. It's going to be a good time. There will be a couple of rehearsals in August and September, and Reverend Cece will contact you about them when she comes back at the end of July. So on July 22nd, Esther Nicholson will be here. You may know her name from Soul Recovery Work. She'll be here to speak and to offer a workshop. That's the third Sunday, July 22nd. Esther is amazing. She's really amazing. She was here a couple of years ago. Her workshop was just spectacular. Do not miss her. Do not miss that workshop on July 22nd. Our practitioners are here to pray with you after service. Just ask anybody wearing a teal or white stole if you would like prayer. This is our gift to you on Sundays. And now I get to do something really special. Yes, she's here. Okay. I want to recognize two of my fellow practitioners. Lana Mayhew and Jerry Bloomgold. If you would come forward, please. It takes 3 to 4 years to become a practitioner. There's a written test, an oral exam. It's not easy, and then you're asked to serve. Not just on Sundays, but all the time. Lana is responsible for our our prayer ministry. When you put a prayer in the box, when you make a phone call, when you send a text, she's the person that handles it and sends it out to all of us. Jerry Bloomgold is responsible for our animal ministry. And so these ladies have served 19 years.
Wow.
I have your 15-year pin for you. You have each been a role model and mentor to me as well. Thank you, ladies, for your 15 years of service and what you pin us for reaching your 20s next year. Now it's time for special music.
Hello?
Yes. You don't have to turn it on.
Just to do that handheld.
Good morning.
Good morning.
We light the first candle in honor of Judaism. A joyful heart is good medicine, but a crushed spirit dries up the bones. We light the second candle in honor of Christianity. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may prove what is good and acceptable and perfect will of God. We light the third candle in honor of Buddhism. May I experience love, joy, wonder, and wisdom in this life, just as it is, as I move to the wholeness and unity. We light the fourth candle in honor of Islam. A man went to the door of the beloved and knocked. A voice asked, "Who is there?" He answered, "It is I." The voice said, "There is no room here for me and thee." The door remained shut. After a year of solitude and deprivation, this man returned to the door of the beloved. He knocked. A voice from within asked, "Who is there?" The man said, "It is thou." The door was opened for him. We light the fifth candle in honor of Taoism. The great Tao flows everywhere, both to the left and to the right. It nourishes the 10,000 things. We light the sixth candle in honor of Native American traditions. Each morning upon rising and each evening before sleeping, give thanks for the life within you and for all life, for the good things the Creator has given you, and for the opportunity to grow a little more each day. Consider your thoughts and actions of the past and seek for the courage and strength to be a better person. Seek for the things that will benefit everyone. We light the fifth candle in honor of the Sikh religion. I challenge the darkness. If nothing else, then at least around myself, I will not let it settle. Around myself, I will establish light.
Today's reading is from our founder, Ernest Holmes. Spiritual mind healing is a revelation, even though we go through a process to arrive at it. Each one must work out their own method and pursue their own logic. If their method and logic lead them to the right conclusion, they will be rewarded by an affirmative answer. If you all just take a few moments with me to contemplate this in silence. So here and now in this place of wisdom and healing and love, I know that God is. I know that the one that knows all, the one that heals all, is here amongst us, as us, flowing through each and every individual that hears my voice, I know that all that happens today happens exactly as it should. That the message that is to be given will be received by those who absolutely need it. I am grateful. Grateful for this place and all who are present in it. And I am grateful for the oneness and the wholeness that is God. And so it is.
So it is.
So if I'm going to be tethered today, I have to move some things, or else I'm going to end up on my cane. So good morning.
Good morning.
When I was 25 years old, I dated a belly dancer. That's right, fellas. You didn't weep. Who dated a belly dancer? This babe did. That doesn't really have anything to do with what I'm going to talk about today. I just wanted to tell that story. Actually, in the interest of transparency, that's not even my story. My friend Russ Legier from Ministerial School, that's his story.
Okay.
You remember Russ, so he
Yes.
was here a couple of months ago. He's our outreach practitioner in Chicago. Yeah, he dated the belly dancer. I never dated a belly dancer.
That's okay.
So today we're going to talk about disappointment. No, we are not going to talk about disappointment. We're talking about healing. Healing as a revelation. Healing as a revelation. I'm going to channel Reverend Cece here for just a second. The root word of revelation is reveal, right? Now, if you ask a practitioner what they do when they pray for you, you will most commonly hear one of us say that we are revealing divine truth for you, with you, for you, as you. We reveal divine truth. By using the 5-step process that we call affirmative prayer or spiritual mind treatment, we reveal within our own minds the divine truth of you and or your situation. So hopefully then, when you know this divine truth, you can begin to allow the healing of yourself or your situation. That's what a practitioner does. That's what spiritual mind treatment does. It reveals. Now notice I didn't say it heals. And it certainly doesn't cure. It's not magic. It reveals. And it gives each of us, both the person praying and the recipient, an opportunity to actually do something. For the one praying, we get to open our eyes a little bit more. We get to know ourselves, this other person, and by extension, God or Spirit, a little bit better. And the person hearing the prayer, they have an opportunity to see and hopefully move through what's holding them back. Now that takes courage. And it takes willingness. And it can be a very long process. But for those willing to surrender to facing the hidden messages of the subconscious, there's healing and there's freedom to be had. So I would like to offer a personal example. I can remember my very first very serious bout of depression when I was 17 years old. My grandfather died suddenly, and I just didn't want to have anything to do with life. My grades fell off, I quit the basketball team, you name it, I was done. And so I would have these, I've had these periodically throughout my life, and I would feel like I had come through it, and then I would go about my life. Except for a long time, it was very rarely my life. it was lived for someone else or to someone else's expectations. To be very frank with you, marrying Kim was one of the few things in my adult life that I know without hesitation was for me. That was absolutely the right thing, and that was my life. That was the best thing in my life, and it still is. Now, I didn't realize that I was living this way. I was uncomfortable. You name it, and I was uncomfortable. I was physically uncomfortable, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. I was uncomfortable, and I was angry. But I didn't know why. I didn't understand what was happening. And what I also didn't realize is that I wasn't really coming completely out of these episodes of depression. Not fully. It was like I would come up for air, but I was staying up above the surface a little bit less each time, until I finally just couldn't come up anymore. And that was this past winter. This past winter, late one night, I found myself looking at the weather to see if it was cold enough for me to go outside and fall asleep and not wake up. When I realized what I was doing, I began to pray. More out of habit than anything, if we're being really honest here. But I did it. And I prayed for whatever the universe would give me. I just said, show me something. Tell me what this is. Give me clarity, joy, a winning lottery ticket. I don't care. I knew I didn't want to die. I just wanted to feel better. I wanted to be interested in this amazing life that I was in the middle of sleepwalking through. Now, I wish I could tell you that I had this feeling of breaking open or breaking free when I was done with that prayer, but quite frankly, I was just exhausted, and I went to bed. I don't know what the message in the shadows was. That's one of the reasons this process can take so long. I don't know what my subconscious was feeding me. Not exactly. It was probably something about not being worthy of too many good things. But saying that particular prayer at that particular time was my way of saying, I'm willing to look at you. No matter how dark it is, no matter what you have to say to me, I'm willing to look at you. And I was. And the next morning I did something that never occurred to me to do until I found myself doing it. I told Kim. And it was then that I felt the breaking open. I got help. Yes, I got a good medicine. And I had good counselors. And I'm healing. I told a friend a few weeks ago it felt like my brain was even healing. Not just my mind, not just my heart, not just my spirit, but my physical brain. The fog is lifting. Like, I'm alive in a different way. I'm full of ideas and ambition and life. Now, I tell this story because you are my spiritual community, and I know you love and support me. I know my fellow practitioners will pray with me. I had been asking for prayers for clarity from them for long before that particular night, and they always said, yes, of course. I didn't know why I was asking for clarity, but I kept asking. I kept leaning on my spiritual community. And it's my hope that this story and the revelation of my healing may help you. And it's my hope you will carry this story with you outside our community and use it to help another person. That's what happens when we are courageous and willing enough to face our own shadows. Divine truth is revealed, and healing and freedom is ours. Even if it isn't 100% clear how it happened. There's the magic for you. This is so important right now. In this time in our history, I feel like it's so important for me to get this as clear as I can get it. When we are willing to face our shadow, our subconscious, when we are willing to hear, you're not worthy, you're not good enough, you're ugly, you're stupid, they'll hurt you, they'll take everything from you, trust no one, they hate you, you should hate them. When we can look into that black maw and know it is a lie, we reveal divine truth. We begin to heal, and our healing becomes a revelation for others. And we are in sore need of a healing. But it must begin here, inside each of us. It begins with our own spiritual practices and with our own willingness. It begins with surrender. And yes, I hate that word with you. Our culture tells us surrender is for the weak. That's a lie too. Look at me. Now, having said that we must begin inside our own selves, know that you're never alone. That is what a place like this is for. This community, a spiritual community, can be a place of love and support. Join a small group. Take a class. Sit with a practitioner. Sit with one another. Let this place reveal divine truth for you. Let it be the safe cauldron for your healing. And then comes the easiest part of all. We walk outside these doors. Because if you haven't noticed, the world, America especially right now, desperately needs our healed selves. I promise you that's the easiest part of all. The philosophy that led to this place, Centers for Spiritual Living, was synthesized by a man named Ernest Holmes. Now, Ernest Holmes said this philosophy that he cobbled together from so many of the world's religions would continue to change long after he was gone. It would evolve. He expected it. He practically demanded it of us. Now, if you ask some of the folks that have been here for many years, they'll tell you stories about a time when someone with something as simple as a head cold would not come to church because it was all but guaranteed that someone, usually a practitioner, would ask, well, what's in your consciousness that causes that? A practitioner that says that now, Reverend Cece will take their license. When I took foundations 10 years ago, there was a woman in class that said, you know, when I took this 25 years ago, we were talking about how to manifest a car. Now we're talking about changing the world. And indeed we are. We must. And we must do more than talk about it. We must do something. I've been to other centers where they've told me they only talk about principle. They don't talk about what's happening in the world, just in their lives. And I thought about that a lot. I thought, well, maybe I should just talk about principle and trust that changing myself will ripple out and change the world. That's very valid. If we teach anything, we teach that when we change our thoughts, we change our lives. Right?
Yes.
We change our perspective, we change our focus, we change our energy, and life around us changes. But then I came across a story from Dr. Holmes himself. When he was still alive, and he died in 1960, so this came from the 1950s, and you need to think about America in 1950s, okay? We're talking separate bathrooms, separate drinking fountains, separate counters. The gay rights movement wouldn't start for almost 20 years. So in the 1950s, there was a religious science church, and if you're not familiar with all of these names, this is Centers for Spiritual Living. We've gone through some name changes. At one point, this was the first church of religious science. There was a religious science church that decided it wasn't going to admit black people, and it wasn't going to admit gay people either. Now, Dr. Holmes could have could have worked on his thoughts about whether that particular church was wrong in what they were doing, and then trusted that by changing his own consciousness, that church would eventually come to see its error. He could have just focused on love. He could have. But Ernest Holmes knew divine truth. He knew deep healing within himself. He was willing to face the national shadow of racism and homophobia. He knew he was loved and supported by his huge spiritual community. So he got on his feet and he went and he did something. He stood before that congregation and he reminded them of the divinity of every single person. He revealed their fear to them. And healing took place. If you ever hear someone here say, treat and move your feet, have you heard this? Treat and move your feet. This is what they're talking about. Treat, say a spiritual mind treatment. Get clear, see divine truth, reveal your healed self, and then go take it out there to someone that so desperately needs it. Ernest Holmes, from a place of divine truth, pushed the evolution of one of our churches forward. I believe our organization is in the midst of an evolution. I believe our nation is in the midst of an evolution. Are we willing to push forward? Are we each willing to face whatever holds us back in order to help America face its fear that's holding it back? Love your neighbor as you love yourself, but only if they look like you, act like you, and think like you, is not now, nor will it ever be divine truth.
Yeah. You go, girl.
That is not revealed healing. That is a fearful lie. For me, I cannot talk about principle in my own life and ignore what's happening in the world. Those ripples take too long. I am far, far too impatient. And any center for spiritual living that would want me to do that, it's not mine. The revelation of my own healing has taught me that. So know that anytime I'm up here, you will always hear 3 things from me. 1, I will call you to yourself. I will call each of us to do the hard work of surrendering and being willing to face each of our own shadows. So the divine truth is revealed and we each move into healing whatever parts of ourselves need to be healed. 2, I will call you to each other. I will call us to this spiritual community and all the love and support it offers. I will call us to share. I will call us to love. I will call us to be a reflection of divine truth and healing for one another. 3, I will call us into the world. I will call us. I will call every center for spiritual living to treat and move our feet, to take our healed selves into this world, into this nation, and stare into the shadows of our collective racism and homophobia and transphobia and xenophobia and call them out for the lies they are. That is the revelation of healing in action. And I call that task ours. There is nothing short of freedom on the other side of it. Dr. Holmes said, "No greater good can come to you than to know that the power already within you is the power to live, the power to create. Not only to create for yourself, but to create for others. The power to do good, the power to heal, the power to prosper." That is our power. That is the power of healing as revelation. That is your power if you are willing to do the work of it. That is your power if you are willing to accept the love and support of your spiritual community. That is your power if you are willing to be at the front lines of healing in the world today. There is nothing short of freedom on the other side of it. Will you join me now in the healing consciousness of spiritual mind treatment? So once again, I just center myself here in this place of healing, this place of power and love, of goodness, of faith and wonder and awe. And I know that God is. God is the one that heals. God is the one of joy. God is. And I know that we are never separated from it. I know that the healing power of the one flows through each and every one of us. I know that the joy and the love and the peace and the absolute power of the one flows through each and every one of us, through each and every person who hears my voice. And so what I know and claim at this point, here and now, is that we say yes. We say yes to our own healing. We say yes to the support of our community. And we say yes to pushing the evolution forward, the healing of our world. And I am grateful. I'm so deeply, deeply grateful for everyone that says yes. For the one that always says yes. And so I release this prayer. I release it into the law that says yes. Always yes. Knowing that it is already in motion. Both in our hearts, in our minds, and in our doing. And if you'll anchor this with me, and so it is.
So it is.
1, 2, 3.
I am just a thread, a simple thread in this glorious web of life. We are all just drops within a stream, flowing towards an ocean of light. We may forget where we come from. We may forget where we're going.
come forward, please. Thank you. So now we're going to take the opportunity to support our mission in providing powerful tools for people to change their lives and uncover their spiritual magnificence so that together we can change the world. When you give to this center, that's what we're supporting. So we ask that you give what you can, consciously. Please take your gift in your hands or heart and affirm with me. I know the activity of abundance in my life.
I know the activity of abundance in my life.
And in this center.
And in this center.
I give and receive generously.
I give and receive generously.
From this everlasting flow of good.
From this everlasting flow of good.
And so it is.
And so it is.